He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Wait, why does your name get to go first?
I don't know.
This is Scone T.
Because they made us.
All right, what's up? Welcome in, Scone and T. I'm Scone. T's walking around somewhere. There he is. Tons of fun. What? Here from Oliver Twist in Baton Rouge, Perkins Road. Good night tonight. Beautiful people around. Good energy, good vibe.
Yeah, Wednesdays are picking up. You can tell spring is in the air.
Pels trying to continue their season. Win or go home.
Look at this. This is from like the end of the season back in like 17 or 18. Me and my guy Jake Madison hanging out. Me and Jake used to go to all the big games together.
It's funny to look at pictures of you from that time because like,
I was way fatter.
Your face was so fat.
I know.
It's not a knock. I mean, I'm not like a slight svelte
objectively, person. I was much bigger. Objectively, yes. I was much bigger for sure. For sure.
There's a video that my son Drew watches on like he watches videos on my phone all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he'll go through the camera roll and watch videos. And there's one from the 2019 football season where we're in the lobby at Guarantee.
Yeah.
And Brody and you were it was the day you got your hair cut. Like when you had the really long haircut.
Yeah.
Or you just let your hair go.
I had hair and beard just go for an entire year, basically.
And so you got your trim, and you were walking into the building, and I was like, you look like Chewbacca or whatever. And anyway, Drew loves to watch that video.
Hell yeah.
But
Drew loves me.
But the point in all that is you were still really big.
No, like, that was my really biggest.
Big.
That was my biggest. I don't think, and nobody gives a damn, but everybody always tells me how great Song of Purple and Gold was and how much they loved it, and I agree. I loved it. It was like the most creatively satisfying thing I've ever done. I don't think people appreciated how all-consuming it was. Like, I did nothing else that entire fall when I was not raising a kid or, like, working. Like, all I did was, like, edit, write, record, never worked out, let my hair go. I was just in, like... It was wild, but I'm very proud of it. It was perfect. It was perfect. I don't think, because the season, how it went, everything. But it was at the end of that year when I went and got a colonoscopy because I thought I had butthole cancer because I just convinced myself in my head that I did. And the doctor hit me with some harsh truth. It was just like, you're fine. It's mental, but you should lose weight.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it. All right. Fine, doc. And, got a Peloton, started doing that, a little running. Yeah, now I'm in a good spot. Feel good.
That's fantastic.
Look at Kenneth Lofton. Speaking of big boys.
Big dude.
What a legend.
He balled at Louisiana Tech. Man, LSU played against him.
I forgot that game. People were telling me about that the other day. I know he dropped 42 the other night in the NBA, and I was like, who is this guy with this bad body god dropping 42 in an NBA game? Let's go.
It's strange, too. He's Glenn Davis-esque in the fact that he's a below-the-rim forward, which you just don't see a lot of that in really. I mean, it's like Draymond, Big Baby.
Can he shoot? I'm not familiar with this game. Surely he can shoot.
That's it.
Like, you can't make it today in that
you can if
you can't shoot.
If you can maneuver and use your body around the rim, and that's kind of what he did. I remember LSU played that game against Tech, and they played it up in Ruston. Or like maybe they played in Shreveport at a neutral site.
Yeah, that was right.
Field.
I remember that now.
It was like
I didn't watch the game, but I remember talking about it.
Tech was ranked at the time. I think Tech was ranked when LSU played him. Anyway. Shout out to Kenneth Lofton.
Yeah, sorry, I completely disrupted the beginning of the show showing an old picture of me and Jake. It just popped on my computer.
No, it's good. It's good. That's why people come. It's why
and
people
look,
come
I was
here.
very critical of Zion this morning, but I want you to know that it is criticism from a place of love. That's why I chose to wear my Zion jersey tonight. I'm not even wearing the Ingram. I'm just, you can be critical of what you love. In fact, you should be critical of what you love.
Why were you critical of Zion?
Well, no, I mean, so I feel bad. The clip that's making the rounds on the internet, they cut out my preamble where I was like, look, I empathize and I understand mentally In fact, I don't understand mentally how tough what he's going through can be, because he probably feels like he has all the pressure on the world on him, right? And I don't really know what it's like to have so many people relying upon you. And not just fans, but family, friends. I mean, he is an economy unto himself. I've heard Levitar talk about that a lot, and I think it's something that rings very true. These superstar athletes are economies unto themselves, and that comes without any of the pressure of being successful on the court, living up to the standards that you set for yourself, all this stuff. So, like, I had this whole preamble about how I empathize with him, and then you know what comes next. But at the end of the day, yeah, look, you are paid a lot of money to do this job, and if you are physically able, even if mentally you don't feel like you're 100%, you have to go out there at a certain point and just push yourself to do it. That you are very highly paid because of that. And that, yes, many, if you go out there and you don't look like yourself and you struggle, many will use that against you, but many more will not. Many more will applaud you and come over to your side and support you. And then, like, look at Brandon Ingram. Now, granted, Brandon Ingram did a lot of the same thing, where the training staff was like, he's fine, and he's just not coming back, right?
Yeah.
He finally came back. What did he do? He struggled. He was not himself at first. You know what he did? He kept at it. He got fucking hot. Now he's playing as good as he's ever played in his career. The Pelicans go on a run as one of the hottest teams in the NBA to end the season, and now they find themselves with, like, okay, here's the other thing. I am completely okay if you believe that this season is a failure if they don't make the actual playoffs. I'm completely okay. I do think there is something to be said for going above 500. It's a literal numerical step forward in a tougher West, right? And you did it without Jose Alvarado. You did it without your best players a lot of times. You've seen the emergence and growth of Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Like, Trey Murphy just became the third player in NBA history to have a 60-40-90 split. He ended up shooting 60% from the field, 40 from three, 90 from the free throw. That is absurd.
Who were the other two?
I don't know. It was a Mario stat from this morning. So, like, I think there's a lot of good this year. Unfortunately, it is such, you know, the stakes are such, and I'm not saying this is wrong. Again, I'm not asking you to engage with nuance. Be as angry as you want if they lose one of these next two games and don't make the play-in. But the stakes are such that, yeah, all of that good, all of that improvement will be washed away if you lose in a combination of you didn't make the playoffs and the Zion stuff just remains frustrating. The other part I hate about the Zion thing, I just don't like the timing, right? If you're going to address me, wait till after the season. Or do it 2 weeks ago. Like, why do it the day before the play-in game when it's going to cause maximum stir, and then the other players got to answer questions about him and all this other sort of stuff?
So the tweet says Murphy, 60-40-90 at 22 years old. He's the youngest player in NBA history to go 60-40-90. I don't see that he's one of three, but anyway, that's just a quick Google search. It may be something beyond that, but that's just what I see right there. Either way, it's still pretty incredible.
Mario Rez, host of the Flock Up podcast. Check it out.
Got an issue with Mario.
Why?
Because for a long time I said Mario Jerez, and then he was saying Mario Jerez on air, and I was like, is it Jerez or
he
Jerez?
Says Jerez?
What? No, so I asked him.
Yeah.
I asked him, and he said, yeah, you know, Jerez. I was like, okay, so I went with Jerez, and then later I started calling him, or I heard him saying Jerez, and so I went back to him, Mario, you fucking told me it was Jerez. He's like, yeah, no, it's really Jerez.
I think he was feeling socially pressured to say Jerez.
I was like, bro, I mean, but I straight up asked you, as a guy with the last name Moscona that people have fucked up my whole life, I sympathize with people who have a difficult to pronounce last name, and when people mess it up. So I was like, I want to get it right. You know, just it's journalistically the right thing to do, right? It just ethically to get the guy's name right.
Yeah.
But then also just, you know, I empathized with him.
I guess he
and
just
then he lied to me about the pronunciation.
Yeah, man, I guess I don't know. You know, maybe.
I'm like, you know what? I'm not saying your last name ever again. I'm just calling you Mario.
He was trying to be such a people pleaser that he didn't want to correctly pronounce his name. I don't know.
Like, I'm just calling you Mario. Whatever. Not going with the last name at all.
All right. Are you ready to talk about Jan Nepomniachtchi against Ding Liren in the FIDE World Chess Championship now that Magnus Carlsen's abdicated his throne? And we're into Game 3 of the World Chess Championship. Jan already with a nice little lead, snagging a win in Game 2. Today's game, pretty unexciting. A 32-move draw, I believe, somewhere around there.
Or you could put this on.
What is... What is this? It's like a nose strip?
Hostage tape.
Oh.
I finally brought you one so you could try it on.
Like, are you saying I have blackheads?
And
What is
see
this?
for yourself. Do you want to put it on?
It's this. No, I don't. I mean, I like tonight or right now?
No, right now, so you can feel it. See what it's like.
It might be.
No. Wait, hang on. Let me show you. Wait. I'm gonna show you.
It might be hard to do a podcast with it on, but I'll put it on.
You don't have to leave it on, so you can feel. You can talk about it.
Yeah.
By the way, today's break-even pour is. Do you know any Japanese? How did the
only Japanese I know is Suntory.
I just mean the I. How do they pronounce their I? Like Nikka. Would that be Nika or Nika?
I would say Nika, but I don't know.
Nika?
I don't know.
Nika whiskey is from the barrel, which, I mean, you're going straight from the barrel. Typically, you get.
There's one way to pronounce it that we should both probably avoid.
We're not going to do that. Not going to do it.
Nika and Nika is acceptable. We're not going to do the
Chappelle
third
could get away with it.
Version of I there. Very smooth, though.
Ooh, that's very peppery. Okay, so for those that missed it, we talked about this several, because were y'all talking about on OTB and we carried it here, or did we start the conversation here?
I think we talked about it here, but I can't remember. I just remember seeing an Instagram ad about hostage tape the other day, and it sounds so scary.
It's this. So I use hostage tape. I snore at night. We've tried everything. E-Rock's got me these little magnets that you pinch right here.
Oh, no
They're
way.
supposed to work great, except in the middle of the night I always knock them off my fucking face. She's got me this pillow thing where you put your arm through it, and I said, no fucking way, I'm not using that. You name it, I've pretty much tried it. Normally she just beats the shit out of me to make me roll over.
Hey now.
No, just like to make me lay on my side. I mean, I wish it was that. You could roll me over anytime you want.
No, I was talking about the beating part.
Oh, yeah, no. It's more like punching you in the back, elbows.
I had a different beating in mind.
At some point in your relationship, the soft, gentle nudges subside, and they just become elbows into your.
I'm not a snorer, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so we tried hostage tape, which you tape. The concept is you tape your mouth shut. It forces you to breathe through your nose, so you don't snore. And I'll be damned, it works. So look, I'll show you what. So you tear here around on the perforations. So
okay,
then
I see the perforations.
And so then you're going to take that off. It's going to be careful because it's going to fold up on you if you go too quickly.
Okay,
yeah. And then you get to move the mic. Yeah, and then you just go over your mouth. What do you well, I would say what do you think, but you're not going to be able to talk. You're not going to be able to talk. You got to breathe through your nose. Yeah. It's weird.
It feels like I have tape on my mouth.
You could probably see with your mustache being thick, it stretches. You could stretch it beyond your mustache over. Yeah, see like that to stick to your cheek. It will stretch. And it's not going to pull your beard out either.
No, that is true. It's actually shockingly comfortable on the skin itself. It didn't pull any hair out.
The weird thing, though, is the first night I wore that, I woke up the next day, went to work. Eric and I kind of were like ships in the night in the morning. Thank you. That looks awesome. We're like ships in the night. We're like ships in the night. This is great. You can't talk anymore. Like ships in the night in the morning. She gets up and leaves early for school, and I'm up. We don't really see. And so like the next night, she's home. We're getting ready for bed. I'm like, well, I want this reaction, and she's like, oh, well, I was kind of coughing, so I just like laid on the couch last night. I was like, hold on. I was like, hold the fuck on, hold on. Like, hold on. Like, I am taping my fucking mouth shut. Okay, this has got like. I'm not doing this for me. My snoring doesn't bother me. It bothers you. So I better have the biggest, grandest, oh my God reaction in the world. I'm never doing this shit again. And the next night she's like, okay, I get it. So the next night she was like, it was incredible. You didn't snore.
So you're not snoring ever since the first night you used hostage tape?
I don't snore.
What about if you have a cold? You can't do it then, right? If you can't breathe out your nose?
So the first couple nights it was a little freaky. Like, I'll tell you one thing. I always make myself yawn before I go to sleep because like you put it on and then you try to yawn, like you can't open your mouth wide enough to yawn. That's one. I always wear a nasal strip as well, just like to make sure I'm open in my nasal passages. And then if I do feel in any way stopped up, I'll use like nasal spray before I go to bed to make sure I'm opened up. So I am leery of that. But what will happen though is I will involuntarily while I'm asleep, I will take it. Like, there's mornings I've woken up and it's off.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. But no, I mean, look, that was comfortable though. That's not bad. That didn't feel like duct tape across your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, if you were snoring and that solves it, like I think that's a good idea. Golf South says might send Hester some of this so we can get a word in on OTB.
Hey,
fair.
Aaron Hornsby,
talk a
what's
lot,
up?
guys. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Kirk Taylor said, "Can T-Bob outbench Matt? Also, what's the most you've ever squatted in power clean, T-Bob?"
I don't know if I don't know where my bench would be at now. In my prime, my big 3 lifts, I did 580 on squat, 318 on clean, and I benched 445. Bench was my strong suit.
If you couldn't outbench me now, having benched 445 at one point in your life, that's fucking sad.
I probably could.
I'm the strongest just naturally in my chest. Like, I've just always had a strong broad chest. Like, I haven't back squatted anything probably since high school. There's no fucking way. But bench press is the one thing where I'm strong. But I've never benched 445. The most I've ever done is probably 315, like the 3 plates on the side.
So I used to, when I was working out consistently, I used to just like rep 315 like it was nothing for sets of 5. But I want to say I stepped under 275 like about 6 or 7 months ago, and it was like a little hard
To do 1 rep?
I think I'm not 100%. I was repping 225, but I did 30 on 225. 31's most I ever got. I think I got 29 at Pro Day, which pissed me off. But what's up, Daniel
Yes,
Blunt?
you could absolutely up it. When people always ask me that shit about you, because we hate each other and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they're always like, "What if you fought?" And I'm like,
look, fighting is a size game.
Giant.
And there's a reason why you have weight classes in fighting.
Not only is he a fucking giant, but he was a collegiate athlete, and not just at like Villanova, some D3 bullshit.
Damn.
Like, he was fucking like Villanova's got a good football program, by the way.
That's
They
true.
actually recruited me.
Brian Finneran, maybe?
Because let's go with that. But like, fucking LSU. Why do people? No, man, no.
Yeah, Brian Finneran, Villanova.
Shout out.
Undrafted,
Look
class
at
of
you.
98. Made himself a beast.
Look at you.
I'll never forget Brian Finneran.
How did you miss the best player ever from Villanova? Fucking Hall of Famer, man. Howie Long.
Howie
Long, bro.
Jerry Evans
He was from Bloomsburg.
Bloomsburg.
Yeah.
No, I remember one time in high school, Brian Finneran lived in my wife's neighborhood, my now wife's neighborhood, girlfriend at the time, and him and his son were fishing in a spot where I was planning a romantic picnic, and I just straight up asked Brian Finneran to leave. I was like, "Hey, bro, I got my girl." He was super cool about it, though. He was super nice about it. Him and his son left, and then I used it to wine and dine my way to a blowjob on the dock later that night.
Good job, bro. I'm glad it worked out for you.
It's a good thing my wife literally listens to nothing that I do. Do not put this on TikTok, and I'm not even joking. I'm not joking on that. It's one of the few times where I'm going to draw a hard line. This is not going beyond Scone T. This is just for the homies. Do not.
Okay.
It's be like when you live streamed for my dirty ass car and I got legitimately angry with you.
Yeah, but I have a problem with you being angry at that because we were doing. No, you weren't angry at the live stream. We were in. So the story goes, we were coming back from Atlanta. Jordy drove us back from Atlanta to Baton Rouge in like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And it wasn't literally 3.5. It was like 4. But we get to Jordy's house, and then because we live near each other, because I had flown there and drove back with y'all. Right? That's right. Yeah,
I can't remember.
There.
I don't know.
I flew there and drove back. And it was either drive back with y'all and leave at the ass crack of dawn or ride back in the ESPN van with Rick Cantu. And I was like, I'm going to leave early.
Yeah.
And not ride in the ESPN van.
No. Shout out Rick, though. I've
Rick
Rick. Love Rick.
Yeah, no, Rick's great. I've known Rick a long time. But anyway, so then we got in your car because you were bringing me to my house, and I hadn't done Morning Scone yet, so I fired up Morning Scone. So you didn't care that, and we were talking about your dirty car and stuff on Morning Scone, and so then I had done a video of you moving a lot of the trash and stuff in the car.
That was, again, what year was that?
2019.
All consuming.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm telling you, all consuming.
I get it.
I
But then
sacrificed
I posted
everything else in my life.
But I posted the video, and I think that was the one time that you were like really legitimately pissed.
100%. I was legitimately
and
angry.
I deleted it, but I'm like, and you know what I did with that? What did I do with that? What did that beget us? What did that dirty car video beget us?
Did it get us? Oh, it got us a Benny's.
It got us a
small
Benny's sponsorship
for a little
we
bit.
got paid on that shit because that's how I
got
roll.
paid a little bit. You know?
It doesn't matter. You got paid.
Yeah, I did get paid a little bit. That is fair. Why am I? But you know, Benny's. Hey, how about you fucking pay me again? I'm out here paying every month for Benny's.
Benny's is great, dude.
It's actually. I mean, do you just still do commercials for them?
They sponsored the Mike Triplett segment.
I'm just asking.
And I went and paid for a membership. I really legitimately.
No, I know. I pay for a membership too. It's actually a great
Catfish?
deal. By the way, coming now, so we're here at Scone T, and look, I know we're being all over the place right now. There's some stuff to get to. We'll get to. We got baseball, Kentucky coming to town.
Oh yeah.
Number one RPI team in the country, huh? We got Pelicans, obviously, to talk to coming up here at 8:30. So we'll get to all this stuff. But Friday, April 14th, 5 p.m. That is in 2 days. Here at Oliver Twist, they are doing a guided bourbon tasting with a Buffalo Trace national brand ambassador, Katie O'Donnell. So I know that there's a lot of you juice heads here in the city.
Feels like I should be the one talking about this.
I agree. Flights, though, flights of 1 ounce pours for $30. And it's going to be featuring Sazerac Rye, some Weller, Eagle Rare, Blanton's. So if you're a juice head, you're looking for something to do this Friday, come out to Oliver Twist. Again, flights of 1 ounce pours for $30 to some elite bourbons with Buffalo Trace national brand ambassador Katie O'Donnell. It's going down in 2 days, this Friday.
Let me see it.
Seems cool.
So, for those that don't know, of course, the Sazerac company bought the Buffalo Trace portfolio, and the Buffalo Trace are the Van Winkles, the Wellers, the Mash Bill 2, which is Blanton's, Hancock Reserve, Rock Hill Farms.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, they own E.H. Taylor.
Sazerac bought all this?
The Sazerac company, bought the Buffalo Trace portfolio, and that's all part. So all of these are Buffalo Eagle Rare. These are all Buffalo Trace.
I had no idea.
So the Sazerac company owns all that. So
I feel like Buffalo Trace was just always on shelves for years, and then all of a sudden everybody got obsessed with it, and now you can't find it anywhere.
That's what's happened that's what's happened during this whiskey culture and this whiskey craze, is that things get very popular, and then people buy them, and you can't just mass produce more because it ages in a barrel. So if you, like, for example, Eagle Rare is 10 years age stated. So Eagle Rare stays in a barrel for 10 years before they bottle it, right? So Eagle Rare in the past couple of years has become very, very popular. So if they today wanted to say, hey, Eagle Rare is really popular, let's make more, great. You make more, you put it in a barrel, then you can bottle it in 10 years. So, like, you can't just make more. So that's how it becomes allocated, and that's why it's hard to find, and you don't see it on shelves, and it's basically reserved for good customers or raffles or different shit like that. So the key is to find the good stuff that, before it gets really popular. Like, I saw a moment with Eagle Rare getting popular a couple of years ago, so every time I saw it, it's a $30 bottle. So every time I saw Eagle Rare, I would buy a bottle. So I have a very nice stash of Eagle Rare to where I'm not going to run out. Like, I'm good.
That's cool.
So you look for what's the next one. Like, before that, McKenna 10-year went through a moment like that where I remember being at Calandro's, and Mark Calandro pointed, he said, you should buy this. It just won the gold medal for World Whiskey of the Year. It's $40, and in 6 months it'll be $60, and you won't be able to find it. I was like,
what is it? Okay. That was Eagle Rare?
No, that's McKenna 10.
Oh, okay.
McKenna 10. This was several years ago, and sure as shit, you can't find McKenna 10 anywhere.
So that's going down Friday. If you're into that, come out here to Oliver Twist. Whiskey. Leave your family.
Hashtag
it says
whiskey.
5 p.m., so right after work as well, right? Line up a babysitter, or if you got kids that are old enough, send them to another friend's house.
Yeah, do that.
And get out here.
You want to talk baseball?
Yeah, I'd like to talk some baseball for sure.
All right. What are you thinking?
I am
LSU,
thinking
Kentucky.
that...
I like how we're both ignoring the green beans and eating the catfish, the rice.
Well,
and
I'll
the
smash some green beans, but full disclosure, I don't know. I wanted to taste it. I don't know that I'm going to eat a ton tonight. My family was gone for the day, and I have a problem where even if my family are gone for 3 hours, I immediately get Chinese food. And so they left, like they literally came back at like 5, but they were gone for the day. And so I got done in the afternoon with my shows, worked out, and as I stepped off the bike, hit the order for the Chinese food to show up 30 minutes later and watch Mandalorian. It was awesome.
What do you eat? What's your Chinese
Sesame
food
chicken,
order?
sesame chicken, and shrimp fried rice. I've been doing shrimp lo mein recently.
I like
but,
sweet and sour too.
I only go sesame chicken, man. And look, I love green beans. I'll fucking smash these green beans. Don't get me wrong. I love green beans. I love broccoli. I love all that shit.
Wait, did you say lo mein or shrimp fried rice?
So shrimp fried rice has always been my favorite. I've just been getting lo mein recently, just on a couple odd orders. Like today I got it, but it's not nearly. If I was going to true go-to Chinese order, it would be sesame chicken, shrimp fried rice, crab wontons.
Oh, yeah, those are all
maybe
good.
even egg roll.
Beef and broccoli?
And, no, I mean, my wife likes Mongolian beef, and it's good, but I don't order it.
I like beef and broccoli. I also like the orange chicken, too.
Yeah, no, all of that shit's good. If I go to Panda Express, I'm getting double orange chicken. Absolutely. But I also then will eat it to the point of I hate myself and I feel sick. I mean, Chinese food to me is a drug, and I am an addict, to where I go through the exact same cycle as drug addicts go through, where it's like a craving starts, I can't get out of my head, I have to follow through on the craving. The initial rush when it's entering my body is like, oh, so incredible. Then the come down starts, start to feel anxious, feel awful. I'll never do this again. What am I doing with my life? Week or two later, the craving starts. And we're back.
Hold DeMayo said, Moscone, I'm going to send you some whiskey. What do you think he's going to send me?
You're about to get... watch out, Dev. You're about to get like, you can't send me anything that I don't already have.
No, I just asked a question. What do you think he's going to send me?
I don't know.
It's probably something that I'm going to end up giving to you.
I want to say, which my consumption on that stash has actually slowed down. I thought about the other day a ton because I just finished another bottle for the first time in probably like 2 or 3 months. I was chaining through a bottle every couple nights. It was awesome.
I mean, you were painting miniatures, and so I have an excessive
painting miniatures
amount.
and drinking whiskey is so good.
I have an excessive amount of whiskey. I'll admit it. I don't care. And so I just went through a bunch of stuff that I'd had for a long time, and I was never going to finish. And so I was like, here. I put them in a box and gave them to T-Bob. I actually brought it to you during Whiskey and Wine.
Yeah.
And you left it in your trunk for a fucking week because you forgot it was there.
Forgot it was there. We were fucked up when you gave it to me.
What a degenerate.
I know.
I'm not judging.
I don't think I ever claimed to be anything different.
No, I know. I'm not judging.
I've told you on this show that I have a party palate. You know? I like everything to varying degrees. I really enjoyed, even though I'm sure it's below your French maître d' palette, I really enjoyed this little Bywater bourbon the other day. Feels cheap, but it tasted good to me.
Bywater's great. That's a local distillery.
Cody Fondo said he sent in Maker's Mark, and Dev said, yeah, probably.
That's fine.
What would you do if somebody sent you a bottle of Maker's Mark?
Drink it.
Maybe. Lies.
No, it's not. I'd drink it.
Really?
Or I'd save it and offer it to guests when they came.
No. Now we're getting closer to the truth.
But some people don't like all the shit that I have, or they're intimidated by it. So we host my wife's family for their big family Christmas party, like all her aunts and cousins and everything. We host that at our house. And the first year we did it, I put out stuff that was like, allocated good stuff, and nobody touched it. But the bottle of Crown, they drank the fuck out of it. So I'm like, that's all they want.
People are just so comfortable with Crown, dude.
Exactly, so it's fine. And so Erica's like, you're not putting out any of your good stuff. I'm like, they don't want it. They don't want it. Yeah. I even pre-made like 2 dozen old fashions to where all you got to do is just add ice and stir, and you're good. And like nobody drank them. So I'm like, all right, Crown, Coke, Mazel Tov.
I will say this.
Cheers.
Some of the whiskey game, like anything else in life, is marketing. And Crown did a genius job with the Crown bag. Yeah. And Makers did a genius job with the wax top.
No doubt.
The wax top just makes it feel old and cool, and like you should be like a founding father drinking it.
They do hand dip all of those, every bottle though.
Oh, really?
They hand dip every bottle. Yeah, at Maker's Mark.
So they leave a Maker's Mark on it. How about that?
Bingo. You got it.
How about that?
How about that?
Fucking smart guy over here.
We're at Oliver Twist.
Call me Taj Mowry because I'm a smart guy and I've got 2 hot sisters.
Perkins Road in Baton Rouge.
All that's true. I do have 2 hot sisters. And I'm fucking smart.
Perkins Road in Baton Rouge.
You probably don't even understand who Toss Mowry is.
Nope. What is that? Corners Creek. 10 years. See, look, age stated, 10 years, 100 proof, which is very palatable for a lot of people. Not too high, so you're not going to get blasted with heat on that one.
Yeah, it looks great.
But that's a lot of commitment if you're going to have, a 10-year I've never had Corner Creek. All right, let's talk about baseball. Go ahead. Fire away with your baseball comments.
Oh, okay. So here I was going to say is that all I'm just a big, like anybody else, I'm concerned about the pitching, right? I mean, you look at last night's game, or if you just look at the pitchers statistically this season, all your best guys are either Gavin Guidry or Griffin Herring, who've been awesome. They're going to continue to be relied upon a ton, but have limited innings. But all the guys who have more innings, who have been great, are now all hurt to a man, right? And then you get to everybody after that, and the stats leave a lot to be desired, like whether it's Blake Money, Riley Cooper, Bryce Collins, Samuel Dutton, everybody who threw last night, of which Bryce Collins was good, but he hasn't been good on the year, but he was good last night, the only one, Christian Little. It's just like you are now relying on a bullpen where when you look at the available arms, none of them are that good. Or at least have not played well. I should say that. I don't want to say they're not good. Don't have the potential to be good, but they have not played well.
Yeah. So
now your strengths in your offense, right? So you can still overwhelm people. You're just going to be good enough on the mounds for games 2 and 3. You're going to need Tide Floyd to step up, certainly. And then you're relying on Guidry and Herring, which is wild, but it's where you're at. Do we know anything about the injuries, though? I know Coach Shea, I'll have him on tomorrow morning, but he's not going to say anything. He is a firm believer of allowing no just not even engaging in injury conversation. He doesn't think that it bears any benefit to him to do so.
Shores and Edwards are not going to pitch this weekend. He did say that today.
I'm fine with that, but do we know anything long term on anybody?
No, and he's not. Yeah. He never even said last year Javen Coleman tore his UCL and had Tommy John. He's not going to. The news will break eventually about those guys, whatever it is, but Jay's not going to go into a press conference and disclose it. So
it's fucking rough, man. You got great bats, so that's what makes it less rough. But I don't know. I think it's interesting that in this year, Matt, where you have way better arms, you're actually 6th in the SEC in team ERA. And last year, when you were doing it with fucking glue sticks and popsicle sticks, you were actually 4th in team ERA.
So everyone that's concerned about the pitching staff, you're right to be, right? I'm not going to poo-poo that and be like, stop, Chicken Littles. No, you're right to be. Your rotation was supposed to be a strength of your staff.
Yeah.
With Skeens and Floyd and, Thatcher Hurd started the season as your 4. Remember, he was your midweek guy. And you're thinking, man, this is a guy that Baseball America for 2024 is projecting as the number 2 overall prospect. And he's your midweek guy right now? The thing that I would be more concerned about is if the stuff wasn't there. If Thatcher Hurd were throwing 91 and his breaking ball had no bite and he was just leaving it over the plate and getting crushed, I'd be concerned with that. Because, I don't know how you fix that. If your velo's not good and your breaking ball doesn't bite, The thing about Thatcher Hurd, and you saw it against Tulane, granted it was Tulane, it was 9th inning when he came in, after Cooper got rocked. He's pumping 95, 96. His slider he's got a wipeout slider. The stuff is incredible. His problem is fucking not throwing it over the plate.
So isn't that the entire team, though, too?
Yeah, well, that's certainly Ty Floyd as well.
Because we were looking at today, they've given up the least amount of hits or something in the SEC.
A big part of that also is Paul Skeens. When your Friday night guy goes and eats up 7 innings and is allowing
fair
1 run on 2 hits, it's one of the things last week showed you and illustrated beautifully, or not, is if you don't have Paul Skeens give you 7 innings, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
The whole house of cards falls down if you don't. I shouldn't call it a house of cards because it's more than that, but you understand what I'm saying. Your whole strategy is completely disrupted if Skeens doesn't give you 7 innings. So I believe Floyd and Hurd can get the train back on the track because the stuff is still really good. They've just got to be able to throw strikes, because the problem is you walk a guy, you walk two guys, you're behind the next guy 3-1. Well, now you got to throw the fucking ball over the plate. It doesn't matter if you're throwing 95, 96. If they know it's coming, they can hit it. And so that's been the problem with these guys. If they can limit the walks and just put the ball over the plate, like, their stuff is good enough that even when they induce contact, they're going to induce weak contact and ground balls and pop flies, and guys are going to get themselves out. They just got to be willing to try to go up there and not strike out everybody and overpitch, and like just throw the ball over the plate, like throw strikes. So, and I guess that's where Wes Johnson comes in. So I guess the other part of it where I could say, if I'm trying to be optimistic, I believe they can get it back on track, is also look at what you're about to face. In the first 4 weeks of conference play, you faced number 11 Texas A&M on the road, home against 6th-ranked Arkansas, home against 11th-ranked Tennessee, and then at 6th-ranked South Carolina. And now you're facing 9th-ranked Kentucky. Your next 5 are all unranked, and maybe your toughest matchup is at Ole Miss because you have to go to Swayze, but they suck. I mean, Ole Miss can't pitch. They're terrible. So you get Ole Miss, you're going to play Mississippi State, Bama, Auburn, and Georgia. Like, you should roll. You're going to get juiced up the same way that these other teams have gotten juiced up early on. And Kentucky is the antithesis of that. So Kentucky has played Mississippi State, Missouri, Georgia this past weekend, whom I'm missing. Sorry, I'm looking for a chart that'll support this conversation. My point is, when you look at Kentucky's next 6 weeks, bro, it's brutal. They're going to play LSU, they're going to play A&M, and then they're going to play Vandy, Tennessee, Florida. Like, good luck. You're ranked 9th in the country, you're 1 in the RPI. You're about to see if you're legit over the next 6 weeks, because the worst team you're going to play over the next 6 weeks is Texas A&M. Like, good luck. We're about to find out. And if they hold up, great. Good for you. I'll tip my cap. I can't find, without digging too deeply, my notes from Monday's show. But there's a chart looking at the combined opponent record of the teams that they played. And a bit of this is like, well, of course, the best teams' opponents have worst records, right? Because the best teams are beating them, right? But LSU was the huge outlier, as they were the only team with a winning SEC record whose opponents also had a winning record. Yeah. And I think they had the combined, like, 4th best record in the league. So LSU has, without a doubt, played the toughest, or is the best team that has played the toughest schedule thus far. So, yeah, you should stack a couple sweeps. You should certainly stack 5 series wins. I mean, I know it can go awry in baseball, but you'll be favored in every one. So, like, yeah, the numbers should work out for themselves as this goes on. I just hate that now we're going to have 29 conference games. Ugh. So numerically displeasing. I get, but it happens. The only thing that sucks is if it causes you to lose a tiebreaker, but you cross that bridge when you get there. I guess the whole point with that is schedule lightens up. The stuff for the guys is still really good. Honestly, the ones that I really worry about being able to find it's like a guy like Riley Cooper, because he doesn't have great stuff to begin with. Yeah. But when he's throwing strikes and he's battling, he can get outs. But when he's not throwing strikes and he's just eating up too much of the plate, the stuff isn't good enough to overwhelm anybody, and that's a problem. Look, here it is. These are the combined record of opponents, right? So Missouri's played a very tough schedule. Their combined opponents 26-9, Mississippi State 24-11, Georgia 24-11. Then there's LSU 23-13, and then you go back to Ole Miss, Alabama, and then you get to Tennessee, Auburn, and you see all the best teams at the bottom here. So LSU has clearly had to play the toughest teams. Okay. Good. I agree. So even though we were hoping for a bit of that with South Carolina last week, and South Carolina did not look fraudulent. Now maybe it goes differently if Skeens isn't knocked out with rain, but okay. So here's my thing on South Carolina. I think South Carolina is, and they may keep winning, and if they do, they'll play a postseason through their ballpark, which will be advantageous for them because it's a tiny park, and they are a team. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know everything there is to know about baseball, but what I do know is when you teach people how to hit, you want to swing on an even plane. Round ball, round bat, you want to swing on a level plane, you want to drive the baseball. South Carolina, everybody does this.
Yeah, they are
are
modern baseball. They lead the SEC in strikeouts, and are they number 1 in home runs?
They lead the country in homers.
Okay, but they also lead the SEC in strikeouts.
Okay,
so they're the ultimate. I mean, isn't that the modern MLB theory?
Feast or famine.
Yeah,
I'll take 1 for 4 if the one is a 3-run homer.
Yes,
and, it's yes. But Carolina.
Yeah, look at that. 315 to 292 for Tennessee in second place. So a lot.
If South Carolina makes it to Omaha, that ballpark is gonna swallow them.
Yeah, you're right.
So they're if they have to go travel for a super regional and end up playing at a place like the box, and the box when it gets warm and the wind's blowing out, the ball can fly, but bro, when you're looking at 360 in the power alleys, 385 to straightaway center. The box straightaway center is 405.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Which about 25 feet to straightaway center.
I mean, if you played at South Carolina Stadium, fucking Tennessee ties Game 3. Wasn't that Game 3 in the ninth where he dies on the track? Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know that Carolina's arms are great or dominant. And the thing that I'll say is there's a reason that LSU, coming off of that weekend where they were 2 4-run rallies away from being 0-2 against South Carolina. Remember, they had to come back twice.
No, I know, yeah.
And LSU's still a consensus #1 in the country. They didn't get dinged for it because everybody watched and went, Paul Skeens pitched 3 innings and he struck out 8 of the 9 outs were via strikeout. He's probably going to go eat up 7 innings.
Yeah.
And look at what LSU's offense in Game 1 did to the Carolina bullpen once they got into the bullpen. LSU probably wins that game. But you can't say probably. It's how it played out, and it's just what it is.
So that is the other part about all this, even though I'm, a little worried about the pitching. I'm worried about the pitching when it comes to what you're talking about, regionals, like championships, when it matters. I'm not worried too much about the pitching on a weekend-to-weekend basis simply because you will be able to overwhelm a majority of teams with this lineup. It just seems unstoppable right now. I mean, look at poor little Tulane last night. Was it 19 fucking hits? Beloso had 3. Was it Joe Bear or Jared Jones had 3 doubles?
Yeah, and Joe Bear hit a piss missile homer, and so
Thompson's
did
hit 3 home runs in a row now.
Thompson's homer was.
Thompson's
incredible.
A power. Talk to me about the value that bat provides being at the bottom of the lineup.
In the 8-hole. Jordan Thompson is your 8-hole hitter. It's ridiculous. But you know what the crazy thing is about Tulane? I know Jay said earlier this week that Tulane's the best 9-23 team he's ever seen. Did you hear him?
Objectively funny quote. I did hear that. I kind of clowned it.
Okay. Did you watch any of the Tulane game? It's okay if you did.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I have no problem. I don't watch a ton of midweek.
So, there were Beloso, Dugas, and I believe Tommy White as well. They shifted against all of them, and all of them got hits the other way. Tommy White, I would argue, and I don't.
Isn't he like a great oppo hitter?
That's
and I don't
all
know
he
shit
does.
About baseball.
That's all Tommy White does.
Yeah.
I
so
think
you're
of his
saying
10
bad
homers,
coaching may be fucking too late.
I think of Tommy White's. I think he's got 10 homers, right? Tommy White's got 10 homers.
10 or 11.
Tommy White has. He's got 11 homers. I think 9 of the 11 are opposite field shots, opposite or center field. That's all he does. It's because he's got the power. He lets the ball travel. He hits the shit out of it to right field. Why are you shifting against him?
That's funny.
When I look at him, you are a terribly coached team if you are not doing your job if you are shifting against Tommy White. They did it against Beloso too, and he just dinked it down the third baseline.
What is Beloso's role on this team going forward? He's hot right now.
Well, bro, so Paxton Kling got hurt in the game against Tulane as well.
I didn't know that.
So in the 8th inning, Cooper was in. Guy hits a ball deep to right, and Kling is going back, and he kind of dives for it. And as he scrambles to get up, you could tell he was limping, and then I had to kind of carry him off the field. He was grabbing his hamstring, and so if he's out for any length of time, we'll see what that is. But that means obviously Pearson and Joe Bear are your outfielders, along with Morgan, depending on if you put Jones at first, and then Beloso's your DH. So I mean, with Kling out of the lineup, I mean, that just weeds out the field a little more, and I mean, Beloso solidifies his spot. I mean, Beloso deserves it, dude. He's hitting.
No,
420.
No, he's great. I was just legitimately wondering where how do you fit him in the puzzle?
So it'll be matchups where, look, he's a left-handed bat. So if you want an extra left-handed bat in the lineup, you DH Beloso, you put Morgan in, or I guess so you put Morgan at first, and then you put Pearson and Joe Bear in the outfield. If you want another right-handed bat in the lineup, you put Jones at first, you put Trey Morgan in left, and then you put, I mean, I would say Kling would be your right-handed bat in the outfield, but he's hurt now, so you'd put whichever one you wanted, either Joe Bear or Pearson in right.
Yeah, and Joe Bear is someone who's had a bit of a reduced role here. But whatever. So the point is, you feel like you're dealing with a shortage of arms. You have no shortage of bats.
Yeah, you got tons.
You got plenty of bats. Hey, I do want to push, my bad. I do want to push something else here at Oliver Twist. So we got the bourbon tasting going down Friday night. Plan this, April, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
We doing that dumb shit again?
We are going to be here on May 4th. That is going to be a Thursday, special edition Thursday OTB. If you remember last year,
Scone T.
What I say, OTB, Scone T. If you remember last year, Matt, credit to him, actually outmaneuvered me.
I killed him with a lightsaber.
With a costume, with a Imperial Honor Guard costume, managed to kill me, which I now own, so I love it. It's a fucking sick ass costume. And look, they do it big for Star Wars here at Oliver Twist. Wiggins, one of the owners, is a huge nerd, and so it is going to go down. Okay, whatever. I don't know, dude. It is going to go down on Thursday, May the 4th. So come on out then.
I'm doing an otter. I'm eating on air while the guest talks.
Ask Scone T. It's a smart move. It's efficient. Ask Scone T. Yeah, that's a real otter right there. Who's more important to the team, Paul Skeens or Dylan Cruz?
Paul Skeens.
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of an easy question to answer simply because of what we just talked about, right? Like, so, losing Dylan Cruz would be devastating, but losing Paul Skeens, you're kind of fucked.
Dylan Cruz is the best player in college baseball. I'm not in any way trying to minimize his role. But if you take Dylan Cruz out of the lineup, you still have mashers, and you have athletic guys that can fill the void in center defensively. You don't have a frontline guy that can shove against, that you would literally take against any other starting player in the country.
Ryan Brack says, how does Thompson have so much power with such a small frame? That's just basal, man. It's the hips. It's the hips. It's all about that rotation and bat speed. But all that's generated from those fucking there is not, in terms of overall athleticism. Whoa. Man, what is this? This is the Smoky Boy again? Let's go.
Is that Mezcal old fashioned?
Yes, this is the Mezcal old fashioned. Here, you can have this. It is very good. You can have the Corner Creek. Thank you, Wiggy. When is that? When is the Cocktail of the Gardens contest? Okay, at 4:20. Great day. Cocktail of the Gardens. They're doing a big contest, and this smoky Mezcal old fashioned. Fuck, man. God, it smells like sitting around a campfire. It's so damn good.
Oh, God, I smell it.
There you go. See, it smells so good it's breaking through your COVID.
It's weird that I smell some things like that.
You taste it? Your tongue probably, tastes it.
Maybe. I do smell like smoke.
Yeah.
When things are smoked,
So hips, though. Hips are the single most important power generator in any sport. It's why if you ever wanted to know one power lift to tell you how athletic and strong a person is, Power Clean is a great single lift that gives kind of a metric of full body strength. Holden Mayo T-Bob about to be drunk as Nick Cage. Yeah, man, that's what we do on Wednesdays. Shout out Nick Cage.
What were we talking about before he brought that? I was going to say something and then you shushed me.
I don't know because I shushed you so early on.
It was Skeens.
Skeens versus Cruz.
Skeens Cruz. Yeah, because if you remove, Paul Skeens, when you give him the ball, you expect to win.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, right? We expect LSU, every time Skeens has the ball, LSU's going to win. That's what it was with Aaronola. When you gave Aaronola the ball, if LSU managed to lose a game, you were stunned. So when Skeens takes the ball and preserves your bullpen and gives you 7 innings and you win, then all you have to do is split the next 2, which this team is certainly good enough to do with its offense. And you win
the one time you did it, you overcame it.
Yeah. So, and by the way, if they had played a game 3 against South Carolina, I think LSU, because both teams
smashed.
I think that would have been one of those old school 17-12 games.
Hell yeah.
And I would have taken LSU's offense by a mile.
Was South Carolina scared? Do you think they did any purposeful misscheduling?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to say that. I don't think that, like, the whole you're scared to play this or that. No, I mean, I do think you could look for advantageous situations and maybe playing
you lose one time at home and all of a sudden we can't play fucking again. What's going on, dude?
Well, the thing that would have been able to happen would have been to play 2 on Thursday and then 1 on Friday. But instead they try to get 1 on Friday or 1 on Thursday and then the 2 on Friday, and then we know what happens. So it sucks, but it's what it is.
Ask Scone T. Raymond says, Matthew Wyckoff from A&M entered the transfer portal. Do you pursue him with 2 centers, maybe play guard? I thought he played tackle earlier when I read about this. Am I dumb?
He was a high school tackle, and when he transferred in, I think Jake Matthews was still there, so they moved him to center. So
when Bryce, and he got all SEC, he got all freshman SEC.
So when Bryce Foster got hurt, he moved in as the starting center. And so the answer is yes.
Yeah, for sure, right?
I actually had this to talk about on AFR today, but I never got to it. But yes, I mean, and the answer isn't
what
even.
What the fuck? He's 6'7" though. What is this? Ethan Pocic playing center?
Who, by the way, is still a fucking unit.
Bro, have you seen how big he is?
He works. I see him every morning.
He is. Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. He works. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I need to text him.
He lives in Baton Rouge.
Oh, what? I didn't hit him up.
So he got married. He lives in Baton Rouge, and so he plays for the Browns.
He's a fucking bro. He looks like a god.
He's a unit,
like a literal Greek statue, an Adonis. Last time I saw him, and I hosted him on his recruiting trip.
Wow.
And last time I saw him, I was like, wow, you've achieved a level of masculinity that I couldn't never even dream about.
Pocic is like, he's one of those guys that I wonder if they've ever done the BMI test. I'm sure they have, but I'd love to know. Like, you know, you watch Andrew Whitworth and he's like 6'7" and chiseled, and you're like, does that fucker have abs? You know what I mean? Pocic is like, I don't know that he has abs, but he's like
he's
that.
Damn close to abs, dude. He doesn't have any fat.
He's not.
These modern O-linemen don't carry a lot of fat though. Like almost any of them, if you look around the NFL. And then now they all get done and they just immediately get 6-packs. Like the same psycho drive that drove him to be great in the NFL. Now they all get, like, he'll be ripped when he's done. But he's not fat. Yeah, you're right. He's not fat anyway. He's 6'7".
He is, his, like, I mean this literally. This isn't an exaggeration. Like, his arms are as big as, like, as my legs. I mean, he is a massive. And, like, I'm not a huge
I have
guy.
big legs, and I feel like his arms are as big as my legs. Maybe not, but they're still very big.
I mean, he is a – Jesus, he's a massive – anyway, so back to this guy, Wyckoff. Look, I mean, this isn't even speculative. LSU recruited Jake Renfro from Cincinnati and Ja'Kai Clark from Miami. Like, 2 centers that hit the portal, they offer. I mean, so, yes, LSU is trying to sign a center out of the portal. If you can add a center out of the portal, you absolutely do it.
All right, bro.
Bye, brother.
LA tomorrow.
All right, brother. We'll see you, man. Thank you, man.
Hey, Celtics.
Hey, thank you.
Who's going to fuck up the Celtics? The Hawks, right? Hey, Cliff.
I don't think he's
Cliff. Hey, the Hawks going to fuck y'all up? Yeah? You worried? Trae Young?
Oh, man.
Once again, Cliff Nelson, shame him. So Celtics.
Bro, that's my guy.
Yankees.
Calici.
Cowboys. No, I love Cliff. He's actually one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life.
Awesome, dude.
Boy, and he's a mega nerd. mega nerd. A true lore master.
Dude, Cliff
I sat by him for Doctor Strange 2, and he was, because I'm not a big Marvel guy, he was able to fill me in on all the fucking characters that were showing up on screen. It was awesome.
So Cliff's daughter, Colby, was a... what like the teacher's assistant or professor's assistant?
A TA?
A TA.
Yeah.
At LSU. I was speaking to a class kind of years ago, and she came up to me afterwards and was like, so my dad loves your show. You know, this and that, listen all the time. And so anyway, shout out Colby Nelson.
That was before y'all ever met?
Yeah, before we met.
Oh, wow.
So we took a picture, and she tweeted it and tagged him in the tweet. Well, anyway, we ended up connecting later because of that. And he's like a legit awesome dude. But his daughter is I tried to get her hired at Guarantee. Like, she is a super talented. She went to the University of Kentucky.
Yeah, he's told me about
and
her.
Did
Seems like a badass.
She did media at Kentucky and is like, she's in law school now in Houston, but like literally one of those people that could do whatever.
You know who sucks? Mark Stoops. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Ask Scone T. Would you rather LSU Tulane games be played in the Dome again? I've never seen that before, so that'd be tight to me for sure.
I remember that, the old Winn-Dixie Classic. That was cool.
Ask Scone T. Any predictions for Kentucky this weekend? Sweep, maybe? I can't bring myself to say sweep against Kentucky. Not with the pitch staff as it is.
I think LSU gets games 1 and 3. I think Kentucky will win game 2.
All right. Ask Scone T. What's the best food item at Oliver Twist?
Man, those pork braised, what do they call them? Everything we've ever had is good, but
let me look at a menu to refresh myself. I mean, I love red hot sticky wings, but that's not. I wouldn't say that was the best, but like I love red hot sticky wings. Oh, the short rib egg rolls.
The short rib, it's an appetizer, but the short rib egg rolls are awesome, man. And I'll tell you the other thing too is they have the catfish at which is this thing.
Yeah, this is great.
It's a piece of catfish on top of a crawfish étouffée. Like, that is a shitload of food. It is so good. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, everything here is, it's a chef-inspired menu. Like, it's awesome. I mean, the food here is really, really, really good. All right, let's get to Ask Scone T so we can wrap. We got like 4 minutes, and I got to bounce.
Yeah, we've been doing Ask Scone T.
Oh, sorry.
Wake up. Ask Scone T. Can we have pitched Skeens in the first Friday game? Wait, what? Can we have pitched Skeens in the first Friday game against South Carolina? Who would be able to pitch Thursday night?
Wait, say that again?
Raymond wants to know, I don't know why you do that. Raymond wants to know if you could have pitched Skeens on Friday and thrown somebody else on Thursday.
No, you look, Paul. This was an old Paul Maneri line, but he's right. You can't sweep if you don't win the first one.
Yeah,
so
true.
You always give yourself the opportunity.
True.
Your best opportunity to win the first one. When you have Paul Skeens, you make someone else adjust to Paul Skeens. Like, there were teams that used to pitch backwards against Aaron Nola because they knew they didn't have a dominant
number one. Yeah, like what were you going to do? You couldn't.
So you just say, all right, we'll throw whoever against Nola, hope he has an off day, and if he does and we hit him, great. But we'll give ourselves a better opportunity to win game 2 with our 1 against your 2, and then we'll see what happens in game 3. I mean, so that's not a common approach, but if you're LSU, you know Skeens goes first every week.
Ask Scone T, do y'all expect the Pels to be continuously strict with Zion in the future? Pels fans just want him to fly. Unfortunately, Kobe, after yesterday's interview, it's hard to pin this on the Pels, which was the great reveal of yesterday. Zion doesn't feel right mentally. And again, I don't want anybody to, like, I feel like when I offer criticism, I hate to bring up my playing career, but I do feel like I have some credence to my opinion as I've come back from 2 major shoulder surgeries and labrum tears. I tore my ACL. I broke my leg, all of which required surgery. I got plates, screws. Like, I remember talking to Ben Wilkerson one camp practice about being scared. Like, I am scared out there. Like, I do not want to get hurt again. It hurt so fucking bad. The recovery was so long and arduous. Like, I am scared. And he just, he talked me through. It was just like, look, man, I get that, but it doesn't matter. You got to do it. Like, the only way you're going to feel right is if you get out there and you get back on that horse and you fucking play and you work your way through it mentally. And Ben Wilkerson was my favorite coach I've ever had, probably, and outside of Tom Moffitt, but, I mean, he was a strength coach. And he was right. Because, eventually you do acclimate and you get used to it and you just stop thinking about it. Which is why I would like to see Zion just kind of be willing to throw himself into the deep end, but
just go.
But he's not.
Man, the thing, David Griffin's comments over the weekend were the telltale for me. Because David Griffin essentially said that.
I didn't see the quotes. What did Griffin say? I missed it.
Essentially that over the weekend he said that he's basically that he's medically cleared, and until he feels comfortable doing the things he can do, it's on him to tell us when he's ready. And so he basically said it's not us anymore, it's on the player. And when management is putting it on the player, that tells you there's a disconnect because they don't want the heat and they're not falling on the sword for you. And that's the first time I've been like,
they fell on the sword for a while, and they've been getting a lot of shit for not communicating, right? So finally he was like, all right, you want to communicate? Go. And look what happened.
Yeah.
I think that, again, I just would, like, I think one of the flaws here is you can't get back to being Zion unless you play. Again, like, there's, like, and you can say, oh, but he's playing against coach, he's doing 3-on-3, 3-5, that ain't playing. Unless you play, you can't get back to being Zion, right? It was like the only way to get in football shape is to play football. That was an old saying that everybody used to talk about. Like, so I don't know. It's just a bit disappointing. But look, I still got love for you, Big Z, okay? I got Brandon Ingram, I got CJ McCollum, I got Zion Williamson jerseys, and I purposefully chose the Zion today to say, look, I critique from a place of love. But I don't give a fuck about Zion. See, this pissed me off that we've only talked about Zion and we haven't even talked about the actual fucking playoff game.
Play-in game.
Yeah, you're right, play-in game. And
your words, not mine.
The glory of an immediate doom hanging over your head is that it commands full focus, right? So, like, I don't give a fuck if you're a player about how you're feeling about next year. Are you insecure about the season? Are you frustrated with the front office? This, that, whatever. None of it fucking matters. All that matters are the next 48 minutes here in about 30 minutes, and then we'll deal with everything else after that. So I'm already upset with myself that I broke my code and talked so much Zion tonight when all I wanted to do was talk about
the game?
Yes, the game.
That's okay.
Brandon Ingram's got to be Brandon Ingram. Trey's got to shoot well, obviously.
They'll win tonight.
If Herb gives you any offensive production, that's golden, even though he's going to have to shut down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander showed up in a Canadian tuxedo, and I don't know if I'm intimidated or not. Full denim.
Pels will win at home tonight. OKC's not been great on the road. Pels have been better at home.
Nobody's
Brandon
been great
Ingram's
on the road in the West.
They're going to be good. Pels will win tonight. I'm worried about them on Friday against Minnesota.
Ask Scone T, does Wednesday Oliver Twist nights carry on through the football season? Absolutely, I believe.
Yep.
Which chair is the host chair for this show? Say Matt brings us in, so I'll grant his chair host chair status.
I don't know that you have hosts in podcasts. It's just you just talk.
So Hold the Mayo kind of speaks to back to Zion, right? Because it is unavoidable. It's a topic that has gravitational pull. I think speaks to the common man's opinion right now, which is, and I mean, like, I feel this too. Like, it's impossible not to feel this if you all make the salary that all of, like, normal human beings make, right? It says, can't help but think of the contract and then him saying he mentally don't feel right when we need him the absolute most. It is what it is. Like, with great money comes great expectation. And it's not just an expectation to be great, it's an expectation to play. Oh, I know it ain't my money. I'm just saying, you're not going to get treated with kids' gloves if you get paid over $100 million.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, and nobody's going to feel like I can empathize, but also I'm going to tell you that nobody's going to feel overly bad for you.
Yeah.
Like,
nobody should feel bad for him.
You played in, like, 60 games and got a second max contract. Like, what are we talking about?
No, I don't feel bad for him. I'm not saying that at all.
I'm not saying I'm not saying to, like, go into his pocketbook and take his money. I don't give a fuck about Gail Benson's money being spent. I'm just saying that the common man's not going to feel bad for you when you're making $100+ million. You're like, I don't feel right.
No, I'm with you on that. Go play, bro. Like, seriously, get out there, Z. What are we doing?
Love you, though, bro. Comes from a place of love. All right, that'll do it. Did you watch Mando today?
No, I don't even know what Mando is.
What? Mandalorian?
I mean, I hear you talk about it all the time. You're welcome.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. I'm not going to offer any spoilers, but Season 3's not been Season 2, but it's still very good. I would probably rank Mando Season 2 and